Thousands of protesters hit the streets in Barcelona to express anger at mass tourism and its impacts on the city. Some protesters even sprayed tourists with water guns as part of the demonstration. Protesters called for a reduction in the number of foreign visitors to Barcelona, which they say makes the city unlivable and has had a huge impact on living costs.
The last years, the city has turned completely for tourists, and what we want is a city for citizens and not in service of tourists.
Okay, so that was Spain a few months ago. I think it was 8 or 9 months ago, where the tourists were being sprayed by the locals, being told to go back home because housing crisis in Spain is out of control. Everything in Barcelona now is Airbnb. Airbnb has taken over, so the locals are being evicted. They cannot afford rent. Plus, for most homeowners, they're feeling it's much better, it's more profit to use your building as an Airbnb than to rent for a local person. So let's fast forward now from being sprayed, which would have been so annoying as a tourist, you're just there and then you're being sprayed, to now let's fast forward and see what's happening. Are they still, facing the housing issue? How is it going? As we watch this clip, please like, subscribe. Let's go.
Alicia Conejero is protesting for affordable housing in Barcelona. Rents in her hometown have increased by about 70% over the last 10 years, according to the city council. The nationwide housing crisis is driving tens of thousands of protesters onto Spanish streets, especially in the country's tourist strongholds.
Vacation rentals make me so mad. Because of them, we locals can't rent those homes anymore.
Okay, so already we can see it's now 10 months later. They're still doing the protests. Like, the protests haven't stopped. They're still going to the streets every day, almost every day in Barcelona, protesting the Airbnbs. So far, I've heard that the government is trying to do something, but they say they're going to ban Airbnbs by 2028. But that's a long time from now. Right now, what's happening in Barcelona is the landlords are not renewing your lease. If you're living in Barcelona, they just evict you. You just evicted, so you either end up homeless or you have to find another way of living. We're going to look at another way that they're living now. They're living like with roommates, like 10, 15 people in an apartment. Gonna be looking at that in another video, but let's continue with this.
The pensioner is worried about Barcelona. She says young people can no longer build a future here. Barcelona residents have long shared their city with people from all over the world. Millions of tourists visit every year, and the city is also popular with expats who stay here. Now housing is becoming increasingly scarce and expensive, and residents are being driven out of their neighbourhoods. The problem disproportionately affects low-income households. That's why the city has constructed 54 such apartments out of recycled shipping containers to temporarily house people like Nadia while they look for a place.
In my old apartment, they refused to renew the lease. It wasn't because of outstanding rent or anything like that. The building was being bought by investors, vulture funds, to turn it into tourist accommodations. Our home. My children lived in there. They went to school nearby.
I mean, that's so sad. I'm sorry for pausing a lot. It's just this issue is going throughout, like almost throughout the world. In big cities, big tourist cities, there is always a housing crisis. If you look at Mexico City, the same thing is happening. The locals are being pushed out because of, these expats, aka expats, immigrants, aka expats, who are moving there to work, and then they're raising the rent, raising the cost, so the locals are being pushed out of Mexico City. Some areas is just fully gringo areas. Spain is the same thing. You look at Canada, there's a housing crisis in Canada. Nobody can afford a house in Canada because it's being bought by everybody from abroad. Same thing in Australia. Australia, they're not building anything really. The issue is building. They have all this land in Australia, but they cannot build because of all these rules and regulations. And it's it's very, very extreme. I did a video on Australia. I might link it at the end of this. Housing crisis is out of control. But let's continue.
Nadia Chaibi Kaduri and her 2 children have been living here for 2 years. At least they've got a roof over their heads. Nadia works in translation, but as a single mother with a single income, she says she has no chance of finding a regular apartment here.
I work with people from many different countries. And the kind of prices they can pay make them extremely lucrative for landlords. So they wouldn't rent out their apartment to someone like me and my children for €1,000 a month, when a tourist can pay, let's say, €3,000. So that's what they do.
For years, Barcelona has been unable to get a grip on the housing crisis. The tourist industry, meanwhile, is booming. That's why the city council has decided on a radical step. Deputy Mayor Laia Bonet is proud that Barcelona has issued an ultimatum.
November 2028. From this date forward, holiday apartments would require a new license. But we are saying Barcelona won't be issuing any.
So November 2028, no more Airbnbs in Barcelona. I mean, it's something. I guess they're doing something, but it's still years away from now. And by that time, a lot of damage would have been done. The issue is the government, the local government has lost it. So I did not understand why these people, residents of Barcelona, were mad at the tourists, spraying them with water, and then the tourists didn't do anything. They just came on vacation. But then they were being sprayed. The people they should be mad at are their local politicians who allow these big investment firms to come buy up apartments and kick everyone out. That is the villain in this story, not the tourists. But let's continue.
This will make an estimated 10,000 apartments available again. Paula Ginestar rents an apartment to tourists.
Come in. Welcome.
Paula is against the ultimatum. For her and her partner, the apartment is a means of additional financial security.
What they're doing is abuse. We're practically being expropriated.
So you see, even the local homeowners, they are like, wait, we really like this Airbnb deal. Like, don't come for us. So it's crazy how the world is. Like, this is a local homeowner. She's seeing other locals in the streets protesting, please rent to us. But she doesn't give a damn. She doesn't care. She's like, wait, why is the government trying to stop my income? So, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Under this plan, Paula will lose her license to rent the apartment. She thinks that's unfair, and that the city should distinguish between private landlords and large companies with hundreds of apartments. But she agrees something needs to be done.
Rental prices are out of control. Here in Barcelona and in Madrid, but it's also starting in Valencia. It's crazy. But I really don't think the holiday rentals are to blame.
Next door, at the laundrette, the owner agrees. Cleaning tourist bed linens and towels is good business for Yadisa Duya Yamani here, in Barcelona's popular Poble Sec district. She would miss the work.
They want everything done in 24 hours. That's wit's good about it. That everything needs to be done in 24 hours, or in an hour. Then I charge double or even triple. So it's...
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for posing. It's just incredible seeing this in real time. Like one side of the city, there's these people in the streets protesting. Some are being evicted, some are becoming homeless, which is very devastating. And then on the other side, these businesses and homeowners, they are all so angry that I'm gonna lose this. I cannot charge double anymore. It's not fair. So one person is gonna either have to be screwed in this. Either the homeowners right now, no, the tenants now are the ones being screwed, but it might change back to now the businesses and the landlords who are gonna be screwed in 2028. So as we watch this, please like, subscribe.
It's good money.
Es un aumento en mi economía.
Tourism is a business, but with side effects. Barcelona's Poblenou district is about 20 minutes drive from the centre. Once home to blue-collar workers and fishermen, it's now a lucrative area, and they're being driven out. With an average monthly salary of under €2,000, many can no longer afford to rent their homes. That's why Alicia Conejero supports the 2028 ultimatum.
Renting an apartment like this is impossible for someone on a Spanish salary. Also, the apartments are not rented out long-term. They're rented out seasonally, for 11 months. So after 11 months, they can increase the rent again, or kick you out.
Yeah, I mean that's not good. The average income is €2,000, and you get a lease for 11 months, and then they can increase and increase. So either way, they're gonna kick you out. Either they're gonna just say, we're not renewing your lease, you have to move out, or they're gonna kick you out using the other means of raising the rent as much as they can. So I understand the frustration of the Barcelona residents. I don't like the idea of them taking out on tourists, because tourists are the ones who bring employment there. And, you know, it's a failure on the government. That's all I can say.
Alicia got lucky. She lives in one of 3 Sostre civic housing cooperative buildings. The cooperative is financed by members and project funds. It offers members a lifelong right to residence without rent increases. Alicia pays around €600 for her small apartment. More residential buildings are reportedly planned to tackle the crisis.
In 3 years, 4 babies were born here. That makes sense. Young residents can plan their lives here. They know they won't be thrown out. They can live, and above all, they can afford the rent here.
Alicia hopes that Barcelona will remain a home for those who live here. Of course, tourists are still welcome, but the city is fighting to strike a balance.
Okay, so that's the video. We're gonna look at this last clip to see how they're living, because the lady there, the pensioner, is paying €600 in her apartment right now. I'm pretty sure Airbnb is probably gonna be charging like €100 per night. So I understand why the homeowners are gonna be like, why would I wait for €600 per month when I can make, I don't know, that's what, like I can make like 3,000 euros in a month, like 5 times the amount. It's yeah, I understand why they're doing it, but I also feel bad for people renting. But now let's go to this last clip where we just see now how some are navigating this crisis, where they have to now live with so many roommates in these cooperatives, co-op apartments, basically. As we watch this, please give me a like and a subscription.
Amid Spain's housing crisis, rising prices are making it harder for young people to buy a home. As a result, co-living alternatives, like the Cireres cooperative in Barcelona, are gaining popularity. Resident Angela Garcia says this approach allows people to save money while cultivating a sense of community.
A model like the one I live in can change your life for the better, allowing you to save much more money. Housing becomes more affordable, leaving you with more money for your daily life.
The 8-story cooperative has been home to 32 families since 2022. Residents share not only living spaces but also the responsibilities of communal living, including communal kitchens, workshops, and rooftop terraces. It's a model that provides some stability in a market where property values have escalated and rent prices have surged. Here is Jose Tellez, a spokesperson for the housing cooperative Sostre Civic.
Cooperative housing is an alternative to buying and renting. The people who live here do not own their homes individually, but collectively, as they are members of the cooperative. These are homes at cost price, and this means they are much more affordable than traditional homes.
In Spain, the average age of first-time home buyers has risen to 41, according to real estate website Fotocasa.
Yeah, so that's basically the video now. They're living 32 families in that building. 32 families where they have to share a kitchen and everything, living with roommates. It sounds like a nightmare to me. I've lived with roommates before and it's very frustrating. But in this situation, you have to do what you have to do to survive. And it's understandable because they're being kicked out of their apartments. So you have to do that. Probably by 2028, things will improve once the Airbnb ban takes effect in Barcelona. So that's yeah, we just have to wait and see. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. I hope they chill a little with the tourist anger. The tourists have not done anything really. It's the landlords and it is your politicians. So if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And of course, share this on all the networks. I will see.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks!